Look, this is just an informal chat. We were wondering what you were working on in your lab.
Well, I've invented a pill that gives worms to ex-girlfriends.
Right, and what's positive about that?
Well, it's a pill that gives worms to ex-girlfriends.
Well, could it also give worms to ex-boyfriends?
This is a drug for the world to give worms to ex-girlfriends.
Well, great. Thanks for stopping by.
You just don't get it here.
Andy Warhol and John Waters, in conjunction with Saliva Productions, present Jim Barrie's beloved children's classic, Peter Pan.
I think I see him. No, that's just a cloud. No, it's not. It's Peter.
I'm flying. Look at me way up high, suddenly here am I, I'm flying.
Yes, it's Divine, starring as the boy who wouldn't grow up.
I won't grow up.
I won't go up.
I don't want to go to school.
I don't want to go to school.
Just to learn to be a parrot.
Just to learn to be a parrot.
And recite a silly rule.
And recite a silly rule.
Foreigner?
Yeah.
Did you say foreigner?
Yeah.
For you.
What's that mean?
Means this.
You better smile when you do that, buddy.
Is he singing English or Russian?
In English. Come on, Berserker. Girls think sexy. I'll watch. Wait, he's gonna sing. I'll watch. It's too funny.
My love for you is like a truck berserker. Would you like some making fuck berserker?
That's fucking funny, man.
Did he say making fuck?
Are your parties dull and boring? Well, why not liven them up with the snack food that's sweeping America?
Say, Mike, this is some great pate. It has such a unique flavor.
It's more than just an ordinary pate, Bill. Watch.
What the? You know, I never saw an appetizer do that before. Wow.
Now, you never tried silly pate before. Not only is it fun at parties, it's low in saturated fats. And look. It picks up your favorite comic strip.
I'm eating Doonesbury.
And I'm eating Beetle Bailey.
Yes, you'll never have a dull, lifeless party again with Silly Pate. Silly Pate. Available in all fine gourmet shops and toy stores everywhere.
I like cream pies as much as the next guy. Oh, don't say it out loud. Oh, okay. Let me make a cream pie for you, okay? Then you can try it. See what you think. I do not want to taste your cream pie. They taste great. I can guarantee it.
You've tasted yours?
Of course I have. Haven't you?
No.
I've tasted mine. I didn't like it.
I've tasted mine, yeah.
I liked mine.
me, honey. We have confronted our homophobia, and so has everyone else in town.
Well, thanks to your mother's tireless efforts, spreading the word about your homosexuality, calling people and writing people and putting your picture up on telephone poles and buying bus stop bench ads and starting an online chat service all about you and your gayness.
Oh, shut up! I'm not gay. You two made my life miserable in this town. I hate you.
Oh.
You gay bastard! No gay son of mine is not gay. You better get gay or I'll make you gay.
That's the shit.
For shame, Doc. Hunting rabbits with an elephant gun.
Elephant gun?
That's right, Doc. So why don't you go shoot yourself an elephant? You do, and I'll give you such a pinch!
We're going to start our volleys. We hope you like the show. Now everything is ready. We're raring to go. We'll give you all the latest songs and then we'll pull up them. We're gonna start with high shots. Just watch this chorus step.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fantastic Comics Presents. This is not a joke about my weight or the BMI of my customer base. It's going to be a lot of comics coming up this week, and I'm here to warn you about this. But they're quality comics, so you're going to have to bring some money, whatever store you go to. If you buy online, it's bandwidth, I guess, right? Welcome, everybody, to Fantastic Comics Presents. My name is Ewell. I own Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California. All the pertinent information is scrolling on the bottom of the screen. I am a comic book store owner. I host this show that's live every Tuesday at 8. I play other people's hard work in clip form and put it at the front of the show. And I talk about people's hard work in comic books, and I either celebrate it or what's the opposite of celebrate? And sometimes I have guests, which is exactly what's going to happen today. We're going to have a guest in. Scrolling on the bottom of the screen now is all the information about what's going to be talked about. A lot of it's going to be new comics, and we'll see how long the guest wants to hang along for any of this. This isn't one of those situations where a plug is necessarily going on. It's just an invite so that we can have a quality conversation. And since Spider-Man #1 is coming out tomorrow, I thought that this guest could have a conversation with us about Spider-Man. And maybe we could see what this person feels about this upcoming series and if they're interested in it. And then I'm going to show you about it. Pictures that I took, with my camera on my phone. And we also have the raffle. The Jla Avengers Raffle is going to be decided. And definitely I'm going to try and get our guests to play our brand new game, There Can Be Only One. And if you haven't seen that, the last time I had Joe Corallo on was the first time it was the debut episode of that. So once again, I'm Yule. If you want to know what Yule Bot's all about, maybe Jill will tell you in comments. Speaking of comments, let's say hi to everybody that is here right now. Right now.
We didn't come to borrow any money. We didn't come to borrow any dough. We didn't come to borrow any trouble. We just stopped in to say hello. Oh, hello to you, Mr. Penny. Please don't think that we are hammy. We just stopped in from Alabama. We just stopped in to say hello. Oh boy, you said it. We just stopped in to say hello. And don't forget it. We just stopped in to say hello. And I'm hello. Hello. Goodbye.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for showing up. My camera's a little off kilter. I don't like it that way. Sorry. First up, early, before the show even started, David was here. What's going on, my people? I was getting ready for the show. I was watching my team blow a lead, and here we are. Fantinian was here to say yo. Joby Pill's in the other room. Corey's here. Shh, don't say anything about the score. I'm not watching it. I'm not taping it. Let's just not even jinx it. We've already said enough. ATN's here. How's it going, buddy? We just talked yesterday. For those of you that don't know, I also do a podcast called Sci-Fi and Fantasy Read Along. It's on YouTube. It's on all your other podcast networks. Check it out. We've done a lot of books, a lot of different books, and not books that are always talked about in length and with such a discussion as the ones we've chosen. You know, you might find a show that will have one of them, or one show will talk about the entirety of that book series, but we haven't done that. We're not there yet. Oh yeah, Denigrate for sure. Joe Corallo, yes, that is true. That was There Can Be. Again, I just clipped something and I thought it'd be fun. And I think it's a hard game. I try and make it to be a hard game. So hopefully our guests will appreciate it. Elite Comics gave a review of the new Spider-Man and said it was awful. Well, I'm in for a lot of money, so I'm saying it's great. All right, everybody. And this is also to the people that are here after the fact. Say hi in the comments down below. Let us know what you might want to talk about. I could get like a subject together. I have one, but I'm trying to get through all my other mess, and then we'll get to that. What's my other mess? Free Comic Book Day is coming up May 7th, the first Saturday in May. That's going to be wild. There's all sorts of books, and not only that, but the DC ones are going to come like the Monday before. So last minute. But I got a lot of them piling up over here, and I have to start getting ready for that. And the end of the month's here, so yikes. So yeah, if you're not local to Fantastic Comics or the Bay Area, you should check out your local comic store out there. And if they should be doing Free Comic Book Day. I know there's a lot of people that have kind of poo-pooed it and kind of like, well, I got plenty to give away. But that's not the point. The point is to get people excited for the stuff that's coming out. There's gonna be like a Spider-Man offering, like always. I think there's gonna be like an X-Men one, probably that whole X-Men Avengers Eternals cluster that's gonna be going on. DC's gonna have some stuff. There's gonna be a book coming out tomorrow that's gonna lead into that. It's gonna be a big couple of weeks in comics, and let's say hello to our guest.
Hello. 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 Hello, 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 hello. Oh! Go! Look out! Hello.
Hello, Rick. Rick Worley is back, everybody.
Hi. How's it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
Doing all right. Doing okay.
Excellent. Let me turn this off. I think things are going okay. I always worry that the videos that I show in the beginning might kick me off for any reason. They
I got a copyright notice about your channel for a clip you played of one of my videos.
Oh, did you? Did you?
Yeah, YouTube sent me a notice and they asked if I wanted to take your video down. And I said no, because it was a podcast that I appeared on to promote my video. And then they sent me a notification saying this guy's stealing your content.
I am stealing your content.
Yeah.
No, I am borrowing it, and I'm not making any. You can put a claim on it. I mean, do that.
I wanted you to use it. I was there to talk about my videos.
Well, there's claims and there's strikes. You know, there's the claims are just like, I want the money that if this gets any revenue, I want this this show to like give it to me. You know, so I get those all the time.
There was like a link asking if I wanted them to take your video down.
Wow.
It's this new thing that they notify you if somebody's using your content.
I've done that with a couple other shows because, you know, they talk about comics and I just take a clip of it, play it, and, you know, then just talk about it. I don't do it too often, but I've done it.
I don't see what the problem is with that, but
I mean, if I was like super big, you wouldn't want that to happen. You know,
good promotional.
Exactly. I'm super big. And then if you're super small, who gives a shit, right?
you are using it to talk about it. That's different than just like, I've had some people just take things from my video and post it on their channel like they made it, like it was just their video, you know. That's a different
That's
thing.
rude.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't put anything down in the bottom of the show. I'm really lazy when it comes to everything, like notating everything, but I usually have a conversation about it also. So, you know, stick around if you want your copyright, or your not copyright, your conversation about it. How are you doing, Rick? Haven't seen you in a while.
It's been a while, yeah.
Are you working on anything right now?
Yeah, I was going to ask you on my channel, but I've been trying to finish this video first. It's been taking for months and months.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I know you contacted me. I had wanted to contact you for a while, but like I hadn't for everybody else except for Joe that one time. I've just kind of been winging it on my own. And when you contacted me about your channel, I'm like, firstly, yes, I'm all the way down for that. But then I was like, all right, well, I'll by the way, and it still was like a week or so later, I think.
Yeah, I want to start doing live streams and guests and, you know, have more regular stuff, but I've just been this one video I've been doing is taking forever and ever and ever.
Have you is this something based on what you've done before, or is this all together new?
It's the next part of the How to Watch Star Wars series.
Oh, so you're going to try and make some money now, is what you're telling me.
Well, I'd like to get paid since it's taken me months and months to make it. It's the videos right now. It's like 4 hours, and I'm trying to cut out everything that, you know, I'm trying to make it watchable. So it's just.
Well, you do make those videos, and all right. So for anybody that doesn't know, Rick Worley's name is on the screen right now, and all you have to do is search that in the YouTube, and he's made quite a few. Well, I've seen 2. No, 3. I've seen 3, right? How many?
I only have 2. Really,
you only have 2. I've seen the
really
2
big ones, and I've done a lot of other little stuff. But yeah, this is going to be a big one. So I hope it would be nice if it made some money. Yeah.
All right. So now is this so your first one was about basically the Phantom Menace, right?
Yeah, the prequels, the Star Wars prequels.
So what is this next one going to be about, if you can spoil it for everybody?
Yeah, this one's about the Star Wars special editions and the different versions of the movies through the years.
Okay.
So it's about all the changes that have been done to the movies, but it's you know, it gets into the bigger issue of like film preservation and how movies change over time and how they get changed when they're re-released and all that, you know. So it became this thing where I'm trying to find clips of everything I'm talking about. So I'm finding like, you know, thousands of clips from like out of print movies and you know, all this kind of old versions of Star Wars and stuff. So that's why it's just, you know, taking forever. But
how do you, I mean, it feels like the people that, all right, so there's remakes, right? Obviously, of movies, and you can change it to make it relevant to today and just change things altogether different. But when the original creators are going into the movies and adding or subtracting or altogether changing stuff, how do you feel about that? I mean, that doesn't sound, don't you want the truest experience that there was and not what they wanted? You know, if, you know what I mean?
Isn't what they wanted is the truest experience. That's what you should want with any.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about art, right? You know, you don't always get, it doesn't always get, it's not always perfect, you know, and that's what it's kind of, you know, that's kind of a separation.
Well, I have, I mean, I'm making a 4-hour answer to the question you just asked. So
right. I don't answer. No summations.
I'm going to start rambling if I start getting into all this.
No, I didn't know we were going to have a conversation about this, but I'm down to talk. We can
get back to comic books, but
no. People love movies here. I hardly watch movies anymore. I actually am going to be doing something related to movies soon, and I'll be letting people know about it. I got a gimmick. Let me tell you. I got a gimmick.
What movie? Or you can't say?
It doesn't matter. Any movie. As long as I haven't seen it. That's the important thing. That's the important thing. I have to. And I mean, obviously, there's been lots of people that are out there that, hey, this young lady is watching this movie that's super old for the very first time. Or, oh, my dad who only watches Westerns is watching it. Mine's better than
You're not
all
doing like a
of
reaction video, are you?
Well, I mean, a review is a reaction.
No, I mean like a reaction video where they just like put a camera on your face.
No, goddamn, no.
And it's like 17-year-old idiot watches Citizen Kane for the first time.
Exactly, that's my point. No.
Sled, you know.
But that's the kind of stuff that gets like millions of clicks. You know?
I know, and that's why I hope you don't do, because I fucking hate those videos.
I will never do that. But mine's better, so you know there's only going to be about 50 people watching.
Right.
But no, mine's a gimmick that I don't think I've seen anybody do, and I'm going to be doing this. I think Batman's going to be the very first one, the one that just came out on HBO Max.
Did you watch that yet?
No, I haven't yet. But I've heard a lot of customers actually talk about it, and I don't want to see any of these movies. I don't want to see any of these TV programs. Jill just watched the entire Doom Patrol. And I was like, you know, Danny the Street is trans. I'm like, no, Danny the Street's gay.
I haven't watched that show.
Well, I mean, because of, you know, Grant Morrison's Doom Patrol from back in the day. You know, he was the 1990s people. People were trans.
So on the show now, he's Grant is a they them these days, isn't he?
He is, but I think he still prefers he him, just to let y'all know. I've heard that.
Okay.
He talks about how gender, the conversation about gender wasn't something that was, you know, freely being talked about in the 90s. And the language was different, and now language has changed, and even though it's not perfect now, this is what he's accepting. And he knows there's some other thing. He's a trippy guy. You know, he's a weird, strange guy. You know,
but so people were, whenever he said this a year or two ago, people were like, "Oh, he came out as non-binary," and I'm thinking he's been open about his cross-dressing and kinks and all of that for 35 years. I think it's just like the terminology maybe is different.
Well, I think that's kind of what it is. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's I didn't really think he came out as anything. I'm like, I've always known he, you know, did cross-dressing and kinky stuff, and it's in all of his books. So.
Yeah, it's funny about that. I just like how he can address he's still, like you said, kinky. You know, he's still out there. He's not out there because there's gayness in his comics or different characters, lesbians and genderless and all this other stuff. He's I don't know. It's freaky because it is, wild stuff. And these are the characters that are in it. And I think that's what people, when they're complaining about characters changing and stuff, it doesn't feel like it was built up to in the last 5 weeks, as opposed to the 15 years this character's been around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's always been there in his books, in their books.
Their books. I'm not writing a paper.
Well, you said he prefers he.
I don't know this to be true. It's just something I've heard, and I don't delve into it too much. And I'm assuming that the dude's probably going to be. Oh, see, are you even allowed to say dude? I say dude about ladies and guys. Men and women. I say dude. Period. But I'm not going to be all Jeff Probst about that. The guy from Survivor, he had a problem with, he felt that there was a problem with, he says, come on in, guys. For 20 years, he's been going, come on in, guys.
That's bad now. I've always said guys for everybody. That's like, especially in California, I think.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Fantinuum says, you'll only watch his movies where someone has spilled milk. It ties into the theme of his channel. Yeah, I'll drink to that. Let me see. Danny is non-binary, not trans. I am so sorry.
Is it non-binary a type of trans? Non-binary is under the trans umbrella.
I think no, it's everything. Anything or nothing or everything.
I think the word
somewhere in it's the taint. It's twirnt. That's what binary is. I'm gonna get in trouble. Just joking, everybody. Danny is still a street. That's the important thing. Yes, Danny is still a street. Danny is now an ambulance in the Gerard Way Doom Patrol. Just to let everybody know. Okay. Let's so cool. I can't wait. When is this video coming out? A couple weeks, a month?
I mean, I've been saying a couple weeks for like 2 months now, so I stopped giving predictions, but it's hopefully very soon.
What about you can release it on the 4th of May the 4th? That's coming up.
Oh, maybe.
May the 4th be with you.
I hate that whole May the 4th thing, but that might actually get traffic.
Yeah, well, I'm here
I
to help.
Posted a Sopranos video on the day that the new Sopranos movie came out, and it actually works, to time it like that, because the traffic was just like crazy for that one.
Moby's in the chat, and he says, "Is Danny a two-way street?" It's an all-way street, exactly. It has a go around or whatever those things are called. Where you drive in the circle to go left, to make a left.
That 6-way intersection we have over on Claremont.
That would be a fine one. Yeah. Oh, Pasadena has something like that. And walking, it's great. Diagonally, that's the way to go. Okay, everybody. Let's do this. Hold on a sec. I gotta get rid of this. All right, we're going to pick the winner for the Jla Avengers trade paperback. Do you know what this is, Rick?
Well, it's the George Perez benefit comic, right?
That's right. The Hero Initiative made it, and there's only 7,000 that were made, and they immediately got up on the internet and were going for hundreds of dollars. And so I held a raffle where anybody could buy as many slots as they wanted to, $5 a piece, cash. And in the other room, I got a jar full of money. It's awesome. We're going to do the raffle now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin this 5 times to get 5 numbers. And then we're going to do it one more time. All right. So I'm going to share the screen. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was told that I was quiet yesterday. Can you all hear me all right? Can you hear me?
You sound fine to me.
Okay, cool. All right. So can you see this on your screen by any chance?
Yeah. Just sticker wheel.
Yeah. This is free. Isn't this great? All right. I'm going to spin it once. I don't think I turned on the audio for you, so you don't have to hear this. All right. I've got these written down in a book, but we'll do this so that, there's anonymity. And we will hide this choice now, and we will spin one more time. Do you feel excited for this person that's going to be winning this very valuable book?
Super excited.
I'm on pins and needles right now. Okay, so that was number 3. So 23 and 6. Wow, 23 is totally my number. I stopped sharing because I'm an idiot. Hold on, I didn't spin it. Okay, here I'm back. I'm gonna spin this one more time. 90 slots were purchased.
So you made like what, $400 or something?
Something like that, yeah. 54 was the third winner of the to get into the last spin. 48's next. And lastly, 70. All over the board. We got 23, 6, 54, 48, and 70 that are going to be moving on to the finals in just a little bit. Congratulations to them. Thank you, everybody that has donated to the Heroes Initiative. All of that money is going to be going to it. I just have to do it on an off day now. But the book is going to be decided who the winner is in just a few minutes. All right. How do you feel about that, Rick? Do you think that went okay?
I'm not sure I understood it.
Okay, good. Excellent.
Each of those people is a different...
They are not winners. They are going into the final spin.
Okay. So you've narrowed it down, and now we're going to... I got it. Yeah. I thought you had 5 winners for a minute.
No, I only have 2 books to give away.
I was confused.
I'm going to have another raffle later, but this one's going to be a little bit different, and hopefully I don't have 90 slots, but a lot more money. That would be better. That would be great. Okay, who moved on? So like I said, one more time. Numbers 23, number 6, number 54, number 48, and number 70. And we will talk about them in we'll figure that out in just a few minutes. All right. Yeah, exactly. We don't want these people to get targeted. I mean, that would be bad. But it's all been notated and everything, so it's all on the up and up. Hey, let me ask you a question, Rick.
Yeah.
What is your favorite terminology for rear end?
For rear end. What part of the... You mean just the general ass?
Yeah. Some people say ass. But but do you have like a little fun term that you usually call it?
No, I don't like fun terms. I like I don't like fun terms for body parts, I like direct terminology. Don't you just say ass or butt? I sometimes say butt, I guess.
No, I know I've used rump is a word that I know I've used before.
Yeah.
Caboose.
No, I wouldn't.
I've totally heard caboose before. We saw a Family Feud earlier today, and they had, they asked 100 people. I think it was men. No, that was when they squeezed. There's a lot of squeezing and butt and conversation on Family Feud.
Wow, it's gotten edgier over the years.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Anything else is extra. Okay, very good. Jill was like, Badonkadonk's got to be up there. Badonkadonk. And no, not at all.
Wiener warmer, is somebody just said
Wiener warmer. Jesus, continuum. No, be honest. I mean, come on, be real. Fanny, yeah, totally. Joe. Max Power says Pooper Trooper. Wouldn't you be the Pooper Trooper? And yeah, Jill with the Badonkadonk. I totally thought Badonkadonk would be up there. I agreed with her, but it wasn't. Tush was not up there. Jill's like, I think that's a 70s terminology for the butt. And then booty. This is going to be everybody. After the fact, please let me know what your favorite terminology for the rear end is.
I don't like.
And while we're cakes is new. I think people are saying cakes a lot more these days. I think we're talking about the underhang. I also remember Jarrell would tell me there's the muffin and then there's the cake, and you don't want to be the cake. But now the cake is in.
Jarrell's he's that guy that used to work at Half Price Books.
Yeah, he used to work at Half Price.
Yeah. I worked with him at Half Price Books for a minute.
For a minute?
Yeah.
Yeah. Heine was up there. That's right. Glutes. Oh man. Yeah, glutes. Well, all these things. Maybe like, naming a car butts are, often renamed. Heck. Okay, well, damn. I thought you'd have what about nothing? Not tummies, not
tummies. Well, like you could say tummies sometimes.
No, I mean like there's no body part where you're like you use the baby terminology or anything like that. You don't like I remember my friend would always say that his name his member's name was Aloysius. And everybody would be like, Aloysius. And he's like, it's a great Jewish name. And that's the answer to that,
It's very grandiose kind of name. No, I never named it. I don't. I'll say tummy once in a while, but I mostly say stomach.
I'm just trying to think. I mean, what other than that? What about? I don't know. I just don't know.
No. I say taint instead of perineum. So,
very good. There's a good Mr. Show clip of sketch about Taint magazine, and it's all like boogie nights, but lame.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the porn visionary that knew that everybody wanted to see this one dude's taint. And then there were like other magazines that came out that were like Twernt and Twasn't, and they're right next to We. Hilarious.
That sounds. I think there's a lot, like you don't want to say like penis because it sounds medical or technical.
Sure.
But you don't want to say like something silly, So I think like you just say dick or cock,
Dick or cock.
I don't like euphemisms. I don't like medical terms. I just try to use the simplest.
You don't remember that? Have you seen Jesus? That would be a good clip. Remember this, Jill? The Big Lebowski when when Maud is asking Lebowski about, you know, his if he's clean downstairs, and she says Johnson, I think is what it is, and he's all Johnson, and then she goes through all this you know, these other words for penis, and it's pretty hilarious scene.
Yeah, I've never said Johnson. That one seems pretty old, doesn't it?
Well, I have relatives with the last name Johnson. I think that would be weird.
Yeah.
For me.
Well, I'm Richard is my name, so once in a while people figure out, like, oh, you're Dick. Yeah, that's
only
true.
If it goes with Worley, you know, if the
yeah.
if it's like a continual, you know, a word, you know, that's made from that, maybe.
Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch, but people think it's, you know,
like Nova is Richard Rider, right? That's the character that Nova in Marvel Comics, the older one, not the kid.
Oh, right. So he's Dick Rider.
So yeah, Dick Rider. That's funny.
Yeah, I don't think Dick Worley is really that funny. I mean,
no, that doesn't work.
I you know, if I went by Dick, I wouldn't really think that was funny. People still use that for a name, right? But there's still people that are called Dick. Yeah,
I'm sure there are, but I can't think of any that I've met.
Yeah,
ever.
It's a little out
in
of
my
fashion,
life.
I guess. Yeah.
Maybe. I could look at my database and see if there is one, but I don't believe so.
Okay, I guess it's a little out of
wow. Huh. Yeah, it would be there you go. This is the conversation I wanted to have. Thank you for joining me today. You want to talk about let's do this raffle now. All right, this is it. Final spin. One time. It's over. We've got numbers 23, 6, 54, 48, and 70. I've got this right here. You know it's official because boom, I'm putting that up right now. You know it's official. This is it. This is the end, everybody, of the Jla Avengers Raffle. Thank you, everybody, for donating money to the Heroes Initiative. It's George Perez's favorite charity. And do
people know their numbers, or they just have their name? Did you give them a number when they entered?
They don't know, but I will be contacting them.
So you could attach a number to anybody.
Oh no. The names are attached to the numbers already. There's no shenanigans.
Do they know what their number is?
So yeah, they watched me write them down. They knew what numbers they were in.
If you say so.
I didn't give them like a receipt or anything.
Because I'm thinking if they don't know their numbers, you could just be doing anybody's number and giving it to your friend.
Everybody that knows me knows I would never do that. I would never do that. Even though it would be like, you know, so comic book store. It would be so Vince McMahon. But no. Not only that, if there's something on the picker wheel that's like, you know, janky, I don't know. We don't know, you know. So here it goes. All right. I don't have any. Oh, you know what? I do have music. Here, I'll do this. Here, this is probably some good music. All right, I can't get in trouble for this either. All right, here we go. You can see it, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right.
Now I can't.
Oh, now you can't. Because I pushed the wrong button again. This music sucks. Hold on a sec. I didn't really mean I was going to do that. Kind of you say it and then you have to do it. But all right, here we go. Spinning. $70. That's the winner right there, everybody. Congratulations, number 70. I can't wait to find out who it is that won. We will be alerting you tomorrow. Cool.
You don't have the list with the names? It would be more exciting if you said a name, if you're like.
You think it will? Okay, hold on and then a second. I'll do this. Here, watch this. Hey everybody, Yule here over at Fantastic Comics, and I get a lot of people that want to sell comics to the store. I've got these Doctor Stranges right here. This is Sorcerer Supreme time, so the 90s. And one of the things I often see, people will say, oh no, my comics are in mint condition before I see them. And they will be like, they're in bags and they're in boards and they're totally in mint condition. And, I understand bags and boards are very important, but if you never change your bags and boards, this is what happens. And, is this the right one? Yeah. Oh no, this is the better one. Let me get you this one. Look at that awesome Ghost Rider on the cover. And you have this advertisement for the Three Musketeers. I don't know if you can make that out.
Yeah.
But the thing is that the back of the comic book right here has an advertisement for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And so where is this imprint coming from? Why, it's coming from inside on the other side of the cover, the Three Musketeers. Let's put them side by side. Change your bags and boards, people. There's been a lot of times when I've seen a very valuable comic not be so valuable because of the condition of the things that they're kept in. And I know anything is better than nothing, but after a while it can degrade the comics. So change your bags and boards. Congratulations to Rye there. Rye is the winner of the Jla Avengers Raffle, which is actually pretty cool because he was one of the very first persons to call and ask about it. And I said, well, wait, we'll find out what's happening. And he waited. So there you go. Right.
Your little thing just made me want to go change all my bags and boards because I've got some comics that have been sitting in the same bag for 25 years.
Yeah, I'm not trying to scold people, but I got a really cool collection from one of my customers that just wanted to get rid of stuff. And so I was taking them out of the bags and boards, and there was some condensation in some of them. I was actually pulling the comics off the boards. And a lot of the bags were actually brittle, and they would be falling apart at my all this glitter is on the ground all of a sudden.
Oh wow!
And it was from that.
He had those in really humid conditions.
Yeah.
I started running a dehumidifier in my apartment a lot because it's Berkeley. It's really the fog and everything, and it's I noticed some of my books new books, when I got them, they'd be flat, and then after a couple of days I noticed that the pages would kind of be wavy, and I realized it's because there's just so much moisture in my apartment. So I run this thing a couple times a day now.
How does that affect your omnibuses?
Some of them were getting kind of wavy pages, but this has fixed it now that I've been doing it. They've straightened back out after you do the dehumidifier for a while. I found some of my older books though that I had for a long time before I did the dehumidifier. The dust on the top, and it starts to get the specks in the dust. They call it foxing.
Yeah.
And some of that won't come off. They've got little gray spots on the top of the pages now that won't come off. And I guess it's just the dust kind of coagulates over time. So yeah, now I'm paranoid with the dehumidifier all the time because just living up here, it's damaged some of my books.
Mylar, I mean, that's a way to go, especially if you don't have too much, then, Mylar is definitely the way to go. I would recommend it. Yeah. What do you have to collect it? What do you have, some rare Spider-Man or something like that?
Well, my single issue stuff is all in boxes in the closet in the other room. But I don't have anything super valuable, but I have stuff going back to the 80s. Nothing real pricey, but I'd be sad if I opened it and it was all falling apart.
Yeah, I have had that. I mean, even just a little corner ding because everything else is just beautiful on the book. And it's oh, if I just would have taken care of this a little bit better,
Yeah.
This would be a perfect book.
I did maybe 7-8 years ago. I bought new bags and boards that are supposed to be acid free, and I replaced most of it. So I think it's mostly okay.
Yeah, I mean, technically, bags are supposed to be changed every year.
Oh wow. Well, it's better. It's better than the ones I haven't changed for 25 years.
Amen. And with that, let's talk about some comic books that are coming out tomorrow. Are you interested in looking at these?
Sure.
All right. Excellent. You can leave whenever you want if you get bored.
No, I'm curious to see.
All right.
It's just I don't know much about them because I don't. You always bring me on here to and you're talking about promoting the new week stuff, and I sit here and say I don't read anything. I only read the collected editions. But
while we're doing this, you can just talk about anything you've been reading. So where are you in your Spider-Man?
Well, I don't mind talking about the new stuff. I'm just warning you that I won't know a lot.
Okay. Give me your thoughts. Let's just try and have a conversation based on Saga number 58.
Oh yeah.
This is the 4th issue since it has come back. Strong. I gotta let everybody know. Strong in my store. I'm selling the hell out of it.
I read it up until they went on break. Issue 50, 54 or whatever that was. So.
There was a sort of cliffhanger at the end of the second issue, 56, and 57 solved it. It's a lot of standing around doing nothing. But it feels like everything's like a side quest with Saga all the time. It's like I gotta do this to do this, But it's been good. Art's cool. If you enjoyed it before, you should definitely be enjoying it now.
I think I'm gonna get the compendium to reread the first part and then start on the new part.
All right. Next up, we've got Berserker number 8. Berserker. You been checking any of this out?
No, I don't know what this one is. Keanu Reeves wrote it.
Keanu Reeves, along with Matt Kent and Ron Garney doing art.
Okay.
It's a good-looking action book about this guy that's, like Vandal Savage from DC, the guy that's like lived since since caveman time.
Right.
This guy's kind of like that, except he works for the U.S. government. And he's also getting head shrinked at this time.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Next up, issue 75 of The Death of the Justice League. Not series writer Joshua Williamson takes over this issue to kill off the Justice League. Have you heard about this?
Sort of. They're killing all of them, right?
Yeah. So this is an acetate cover, just to let everybody know. So I know you want it more. And the bigwigs, the Justice League, who do you think of when you think of your perfect Justice League team? Who are the members that are in it for you?
Well, I never read Justice League a whole lot, so I think of the classic, Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Aquaman, Green Arrow, I guess.
Yeah, I see Green Arrow in this. Maybe I know Black Adam's here, but that doesn't make sense because he's going to have a movie coming out shortly, right?
Is that Black Canary in there?
I think Black Canary also. That's rude. She's hardly liking it. Some Green Lanterns back there. Maybe John Stewart. I can't tell.
It looks like John Stewart.
Yeah.
Awesome. I thought it was Hal Jordan was the Green Lantern now. Or do they have a few of them?
They have a lot. A lot of them come from Earth also. Hell, there's Earthlings that make their own power rings. So, so this does. What do you think about this? Like, did you read The Death of Superman when that occurred? Issue 75 of Superman when he died?
I got the death issue and the poly bag and all that. I didn't read the whole build-up at the time. When I was a little kid, I could only afford a couple comics a week, and they were mostly Spider-Man. But I still have that. That's in one of my old bags and boards. I've got it all poly bagged. I have the actual death issue, and then I got a little bit of the funeral for a friend stuff or whatever it was afterwards. So is this spinning out of that in some way, or?
No, it's just supposed to make you or me think of that, I think. But Williamson's been writing all the big event books for DC in the last couple of years. And he's going to be writing the next one called Dark Crisis, which you can see the poster in my window. And this is leading into that. And I think what comes out of this is all the new characters that are Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, whoever, are going to step up. So we got John Kent, Superman, son of Kal-El.
I thought that wasn't that 5G or whatever was supposed to be the new versions of all the, and then they canceled it.
They canceled it, but some of it stuck, and some of it was like mildly tried out, and it's kind of stunty with a lot of the things that they do in comics to make people want to care more about them. I'm not going to get into it.
What does acetate means? Is this like a see-through cover or something?
Yeah, the full covers on the other side.
So this is like plastic with the letters are see-through.
Yeah.
I still like my 90s stunt covers. I saved all the hollow covers and weird covers.
These would be like the Warren Ellis Marvels sequel in a way. It was called Ruins.
Yeah. Because I like that stuff because in the reprints they never reprint the weird covers, so it's like that.
Sure.
That's the thing you can't get again. So like all my old Spider-Man Clone Saga issues where they were doing like 6 weird covers every month. I have the Clone Saga omnibuses, but I wish they would do. It would be super rad if they did just like an omnibus that was just all the weird covers, But I don't even know if they have the printing capabilities to do it. So
it'd be a very expensive omnibus.
Yeah, because every one of those was like some weird. I think how it worked is the printer would be like, "Hey, we can do like this swirly spiral plastic thing," and they'd be like, "Okay, somebody draw Spider-Man on that," So I think every one of those was a different kind of printer trick that I don't even know if they could recreate it. So those are actually kind of, I don't know if they're rare, but they're kind of a little bit irreplaceable because they're in the collections.
Fischozo is not beating around the bush here. Yes, I mean that's kind of what they're doing. I mean, and it's not really that. Let's just say it's younger. Like seriously, it's a lot of younger heroes that are taking the place. They just happen to be various different types of youngsters. Those young people. These kids today.
Kids today with their pink-haired boyfriends.
That's right. Dude, I swear, I read the last issue of Superman, and I almost always call him Superboy, too, because there's just no way. But it was okay. It wasn't that bad. But some of the other books that aren't as good as Superman, Son of Kal-El, woof. Batman Beyond the White Knight is the third installment of the White Knight trilogy of the Murphyverse. Maybe there'll be another one. I don't know. This is popular. The first issue sold out. It's going for money on the internet. So make sure you come in and get it if you care. Sean Murphy, man, that guy's the best. He's one of the best. I have a customer that buys his artwork. I mean, just loves it. From Image, we have, it's in the title, it's on the cover, Gunslinger Spawn. Wow. Todd McFarlane, that guy, he really knows what makes comics sell.
What I have been reading is, and this is like a guilty pleasure, like I really feel guilty for reading it, but I've been rereading all the early issues of Spawn because I bought the compendiums.
Oh, very good.
Because I thought, the compendiums is, yeah, but this was like a, when I was a kid, I was trying to track down all those issues and everything. And so I couldn't pass it up to have one book with like all 50 issues, So I bought that, and yeah, it's the stupidest shit that's ever been in a comic, but it takes me like right back to being 10 years old.
It's a form of time travel, man. I was just telling Jill, I'm like, when you hear that song, it takes you back to that time.
Yeah,
I can time travel with you in a way. It's like I'm still old though. So it's cool. It's
like there's half of my brain that's like, this is the stupidest thing I ever read, and then the other half of my brain, I look at it and I'm like immediately teleported back to my 11th birthday. My dad gave me $100 and drove me to the comic book store, and I went through the old bins and I pulled out all these issues of Spawn, and that was like one of my coolest birthdays ever. Was I got like 50 Spawn comic books. So that's what it does. Is it takes you right back to that.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I've been reading a ton of Spawn.
Is that the reason why I like Walt Simonson, Thor, John Byrne, X-Men, John Byrne, Fantastic Four, George Perez and Marv Wolfman on Teen Titans, and other books during that time? Is it just because that's when I was younger, or were they better crafted comics? There's things that topped my list that came after that. But if I had to just take one era, I mean, Frank Miller was doing, Rob Liefeld was talking about today on Twitter. And, it was kind of celebrating that stuff. And he's like, this isn't just old people saying this was good. This is demonstrably, a very, very good time in comic books.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that you just named is pretty classic stuff that it's pretty good to read now. I think I'm a few years younger than you, and when I was that age, the stuff that was out, for me, that stuff is like the Spider-Man Clone Saga and all of that, which is stuff that I'm perfectly aware that it's terrible, but I still love reading it, So I think that's I think a lot of the stuff when you were that age was better stuff. I think it really was.
I think it stands up a little bit better than. The problem with the comics in the 90s is that they were trying to do things that were done by the people in the 80s so expertly. And it's just like when Spider-Man had to go through his, Aunt May dying, during, I think it was the Shrieking or whatever.
Yeah, that's issue 400.
And, that's when I was quitting it. I was like, I can't take this anymore. This is like dark, dour stuff for no reason. And, I just can't handle it anymore. It's just not good. And I can understand people liking it, but it just wasn't, what I was getting into. And you see a lot of 90s comics like that, but that's not true. A lot of 90s comics that are out there, you got your Vertigos and you got your other imprints, but even within DC and Marvel, there were those little hidden gems that were, really good. They weren't all bad.
They were hidden pretty deep.
They were pretty bad, some of them. I mean,
I think there's a little bit. I mean, there was the mid '80s kind of little bit of a renaissance, and you had Alan Moore and Frank Miller and everything, and then you did have to go through years and years of people who weren't nearly as smart as Alan Moore trying to copy what Alan Moore did.
Right.
That's when it gets pretty rough.
And don't get me wrong, there were a lot of I mean, this is how it was with me and my friends. Or maybe it was just me because I was a jerk or something. But I remember all of us dogging on each other's comics that we liked, and then there was the ones that we all liked, and we passed them back and forth and whatnot. But I would never have read an Iron Man in my early days if it wasn't for my friends getting them, and that was something I might dog on somebody for,
Yeah.
Just kind of one of those things.
Well, the good 90s stuff that was coming out, I wasn't reading because I was too little. So, because the stuff that was coming out, like Sandman or Invisibles, it was a little bit over my head.
Sure.
When I was 9 years old, so it was I guess there was good stuff, but it wasn't happening with Spider-Man or Batman.
Right. And then, I mean, there was a lot of good stuff during that time. I'm not making fun of 90s comics. I like a lot of 90s comics, and it didn't just have to be the adult stuff, but speaking of, we've got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles The Last Ronin, the last issue of this first volume of The Last Ronin. This has been really well received by all the turtle fans out there, and it's been a hit, and it's been much delayed. So a lot of people are excited about this, and I guess there's a new character that's being introduced. So many reasons to come in and get this. I expect to sell out. I expect everybody to want to buy them, maybe even two. So, The Last Ronin. Have you heard anything about this book?
I'm a little bit behind, but I was reading the IDW Ninja Turtles for a long time.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, well, speaking of childhood nostalgia, Ninja Turtles for me when I was a little kid, that was the shit. So when I was a little kid, I didn't read the comics so much because they were hard to find, but the toys and the cartoon show and everything, So yeah, I've been reading the IDW. I haven't started Last Ronin, but I know what it is because I'm just a few months behind. So their IDW Turtles has been really good for a long time.
Have you read the original Turtles since then?
Yeah, a few years ago I read the early issues.
Like if you read the first 12, that's all you really need to read.
Yeah, it gets really weird after that, but yeah.
Well, there's a lot of different people coming in and working on the book to keep it going, and there's some really great stuff. Also, Michael Zulli does stuff. People that were in Tundra, like Bissett, I think, and different Alan Moore types.
The comics the Turtles comics that I read as a kid were the I think they were Archie ones, like the ones that were kind of based on the cartoon shows. I read those because you could find those at gas stations and stuff, and the indie ones were a little harder to come across.
Right.
But, yeah, a few years ago I read some of the first part of the Eastman and Laird part.
Yeah, Doc, no problem. Already there. And yeah, Hero Fall. Last run is such a hit. It got fans like me into Ninja Turtles. It was a long wait. No. Get this last issue because new character alert. Okay, yeah, you need one also. Excellent. I like you. Yeah, you will, but you absolutely should your nerdy ass. What did I do there? I don't remember what I said, but that's fine.
I don't know when he
there's a lot of things I said, I'm sure. I love the Turtles. That's the thing about it. You remember the Archie ones? Is that what you said?
Yeah, the more cartoony ones.
And I remember obviously not having the very first one, but getting reprints of it and reading the hell out of them, starting with like issue 3 or 4, and just waiting, for these jerks to get these books done. And then like Richard Corbin does an issue, and I find out about Corbin that way, and all sorts of other people that worked on Turtles are really good. So there have been some really good things that weren't Eastman and Laird, but this is Eastman coming back and doing a kick-ass story. All right, Punisher number 2. Do you know anything about this?
This I don't know anything at all.
Do you care?
Not really. I'm not into Punisher. You a Punisher fan?
He's not using any guns right now. He's a member of the Hand. He's like leading it.
I did just read because I've been doing the Spider-Man reread, so I did just read like the first Punisher stories, and that was kind of interesting to see what he was in the beginning.
Jerry Conway. Great.
Yeah.
We will be talking about that in just a few moments. I can't wait. This is Knights of X number 1. Teenie Howard's writing it. You like Teenie Howard?
I don't think I know Teenie Howard.
I don't like Teenie Howard.
What happened to I started reading the Hickman X-Men and that just kind of fell apart. That didn't really.
Too many cooks, I think, is really what it is.
Okay.
Too many people in Slack.
Okay. It just seemed like it, because I remember at the beginning he was talking about like his whatever 5-year plan or something, and then it just kind of disappeared. I wasn't following the behind the scenes or anything, so I don't know.
I've listened to people talk about it. I've paid attention a little bit to it, but not fully. It just upsets me every time I think about it, so I rather not think about it.
Okay. So I didn't mean to bring up a touchy subject.
X-Men were going to be awesome. People were all upset about the old ladies, botanists. That was awesome. There was really cool stuff that he did. And then they had galas. And then they had, I like a Hellfire Club gala in an issue, like when John Byrne did it with Chris Claremont. And Colossus is like, my father works a whole year and I wouldn't be able to afford this suit that I'm wearing right now. That's Colossus, right? And there's the Hellfire Club and all the stuff's going on, and then there's fighting. But no, they don't do that. They stretched it out for every issue that came out that month, and there were celebrities and all sorts of shit. No, it's a sore subject. I don't like it.
I can tell. I can tell it's a touchy.
I'm sick of tea time. I'm sick of it.
I liked Hickman's Fantastic Four and all of that, and it kind of seemed like a big X-Men relaunch, and so I started to read the first few parts, and then it just kind of started to seem like a mess. Like I couldn't really stuff was happening, but it was like happening outside of the main book, so I didn't know what was happening, and then it just kind of he started to seem to be writing less and less of it, and it was just like it just kind of felt like it just fizzled out. So I didn't really get that far.
Tell me in comments, everybody, what you thought of the X-Men. Let me see here. Hero Falls too nice. He's too new. Let's see. I'm gonna look at the Hellfire Gala was really fun to just sit down and vibe with the characters for an issue or two. They had one cameo with Feige from the MCU. There was more than that in the celebrities. There was like Patton Oswalt and all sorts of bullshit. Jordan White, who's the editor, I think, was there. Yeah, they didn't want to move forward. So that's what it was. So check this out. In the X Lives and X Deaths of Wolverine, I didn't read that because I don't care. But I guess Moira McTaggart, who's no longer a mutant because of powers, she's now a robot and she's working against the mutants for Orcus. That whole next wave human people that had the Nimrod Sentinel and all that stuff. And she skins people and wears their fleshy overcoat so that she can still sneak into Krakoa.
Okay.
If I've got that right. And the funny thing is that supposedly, maybe people are theorizing that has something to do with Mary Jane and Spider-Man. Dun, dun, dun.
Is Mary Jane, is she a mutant now?
I don't know. Okay, let's go through these really quick. We Have Demons by Snyder and Capullo. This was their Amazon Comixology comic in Flesh for Dark Horse. Number 2 of Jim Rugg's Hulk Grand Design. The first one was Monster. This is Madness. This tells the entirety of the Hulk in 2 comic books. And Jim Rugg's doing some really cool collage, imitating art, layouts that are just really fantastic in this book. Recommend it. Ghost Cage is a 3-issue miniseries written and drawn by Nick Dragotta. If you read the first issue, I'm warning you about this. Bloodstained Teeth is by writer Christian Ward, not by cover artist Christian Ward as artist. You know what I mean? He ain't doing no art. So if you like the cover, hopefully the art will do it for you also on the inside, because it's not going to be the same.
They do that a lot now.
Well, Christian Ward is an artist, but he is becoming a writer today. So, what are you going to do? The British Paranormal Society. If you enjoy Hellboy comics, this is a new series, I think, that's starting up. It might just be a mini series, but either way, this is something you should check out. If you like mysteries, kind of like Rivers of London, this might be up your alley also. Thor 24. You read Thor? Donny Cates? He's writing it.
No, I thought he was still writing Venom. As he moved on.
He's off Venom. He's writing Hulk right now after Immortal Hulk. And he's writing Thor after Jason Aaron's Thor. So he's been doing it for a few years now. Okay. And in the last story, the Allfather Odin died. And it looks like they're burning him, as is the custom.
I have never read Thor. It always seemed kind of silly to me.
Okay. All right. Have you seen pictures of Natalie Portman?
Yeah. It doesn't do a lot for me.
Well, I don't mean it that way. She's going to be Jane Foster Thor in the next movie.
Right.
And she's showing her guns.
Yeah, she's She-Thor.
Exactly.
I did see that. I saw that she was playing it. I think the first 2 or 3 Thor movies, but I hate all those Marvel movies.
Yeah, me too. Me too. All right. Last but not least, is Dark Knights of Steel. This is an Elseworlds book, not called Elseworlds, where Kal-El landed on planet Earth in medieval times, but his parents were with him.
And he became Batman?
No, they became like kings and queens, and Batman's part of another royal family, and it's like, remember Marvel 1602?
Yeah.
That's what this is.
Oh, okay.
All right. Cool.
Does DC actually publish any books that don't have Batman in them?
A few. There's Superman, there's Action, there's sometimes a Green Lantern.
And Superman right now is with the little gay Superboy.
That's the Superman,
yeah.
Okay. There's still Wonder Woman, yeah. But there's a few miniseries that are out there. But if you count family members like Batgirl or Robin or Future State Gotham, those are all books that Batman, and then if you count all the miniseries, and then Batman Beyond miniseries, and then
Harley Quinn,
and Joker, and Harley Quinn animated, it gets pretty. How many times has Odin died now? I have to think about that. But yeah, there's so here, Hero Fall, it says, so far Rick is 2 out of 10 on what he likes in today's comics media.
That's a pretty high rating. I don't think I would actually like 2 of those. I don't know. The Gunslinger Spawn, I like a lot of the old Spawn, but the new Spawn is like, well, a lot of that old 90s stuff, it has that kind of well, I don't know, if you grew up on it, that sort of McFarlane look to the art is really cool. That sort of detailed inking. Like, I like it when Greg Capullo and Danny Miki are doing it. That kind of look. And the new Spawn that I see, it just looks like just superhero art. It just looks like normal standard. You know what I mean?
That's not always that way. Brett Booth is doing it in Gunslinger, so that makes sense. Plus, there's other characters, but there's firstly, the covers by Behrens are fantastic, and it gives a very spooky horror element. But there was a time when Jason Sean Alexander was doing about 12 or 15 issues of Spawn, and it had a very different feel to it than any other Spawn I've read before, and I really enjoyed that one quite a bit. So I don't usually read entire stories of Spawn that come out these days, and those were some that I did, just to let you know.
We'll see if I get there, because I'm on about issue 50 with the compendiums. The other reason I started with the compendiums is because he announced compendium 3 and 4, which means they're going to get at least issue 200. So I thought, if this would be a way to kind of blaze all the way up through it and get caught up. So we'll see if the compendiums get me up to the modern era.
Yeah.
If I give up, you think I'll actually make it to the current issues, or do you think I'll give up? I know there's some pretty rough patches in there.
I don't. How many compendiums do you have right now?
Well, every compendium he does is 50 issues, and so far he did 2, so I'm up to issue 100. I read about half of it.
I think number 4 will be tough for you to want to get.
Okay. Yeah, but number 4 comes out, I think, in December or something. Number 4 comes out. So.
Well, the problem will be going through all the 3 is the problem.
3 where it gets bad?
I think there's a lot of Angel Medina at that time, and although he's fine doing his version of McFarlane, it just isn't as good as Capullo doing it. And, there's just other reasons also. I think McFarlane's less interested in paying attention, and it's just a lot of other people involved, I think.
Yeah, like between 100 and 150, there's Angel Medina's doing a lot, and it kind of looks like, from what I saw, it looks like a sort of he's doing a Capullo imitation, and it's not that great.
Right. Okay.
And then there's like I think somewhere between like 150 and 180. There's like 4 whole years where McFarlane doesn't have any credits. He didn't write or draw. He just like wasn't involved in it at all.
Right.
So
my favorite thing that was Spawn during that time, and maybe it was a little bit later, was actually Brian Michael Bendis working on
Sam and Twitch. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I haven't read that, but I thought that
those are
I just watched
good.
the thing where he was talking about that McFarlane fired him for some reason.
I think because he was starting to moonlight or something. I think he got a Marvel gig and he wanted to do both, and McFarlane was like,
yeah, that was when he started Ultimate Spider-Man, and he said that McFarlane got really mad that he was going to do Spider-Man. You know, McFarlane quit Spider-Man, I guess, so he just fired him off Sam and Twitch. I guess that's what happened, but that sounded kind of like it would be interesting to see him write those characters. You know?
Yes, sir. In fact, you know what? Why don't we go straight to this right now?
There can be only one.
All right, there can be only one. Okay. I'm going to show you some, I'm going to ask you a question about 4 people, and you can only pick one person, okay?
Okay.
And this is going to be 4 Spider-Man illustrators that I picked out, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So the first one I picked out was Steve Ditko, right here.
Okay.
I got these all off the internet. I got this picture here. I love Steve Ditko because he would do the behind the scenes and show all the belts and all that stuff that he had, the web shooters and whatnot.
Yeah.
This is a pretty iconic scene, right?
Yeah, it's the master planner thing, right?
Yeah. And then this annual was a pretty big deal. All the splash pages that happen and team ups like this, that didn't happen too often.
And that's where Aunt May meets Dr. Octopus, and they're like hanging out together.
Oh man, is that the first time they hang out?
Yeah. She thinks that Dr. Octopus is such a refined guy, and he's going to save her from that terrible Spider-Man.
That makes sense. Okay, cool. Yeah. Next up, we have John Ramita Sr. All right. He's like most known for what, Mary Jane, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Classic cover of his. He also helped, along with his son, create the Prowler. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think looks a lot like Spawn, you know?
I don't think there's anything original in the Spawn design. It's all just stuff that McFarlane liked to copy out of comics when he was a kid, and just kind of all smashed together. But you know.
All right. Speaking of Todd, I'm going to put Todd in this category. You know, make it tough. You know.
Mm-hmm.
This is an insanely overpriced comic these days. It's getting it in really, really good condition. It's going to set you back thousands, and it's amazing. And then, of course, you know, the very next cover is the same thing, and he's reused this a million times.
He likes that to just trace his own poses. If he has a good pose, he does. He does that all the time with Spawn. He's done like 4 versions.
That's right. And then last but not least, in art, I'm throwing out Mark Bagley. Mark Bagley, pretty well known for his long-ass run on Spider-Man.
And Ultimate Spider-Man.
And Ultimate Spider-Man. And he had well over 100 issues in a row. Like he thrashed Kirby and Stan Lee as far as consecutive issues are concerned. That's from Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And here he is. This is issue 400. I think. Is this where Aunt May dies?
Yeah, I have that issue in the other room here. That was my era. My era.
That's the one with the tombstone on the cover, right?
Yeah. Although it was like Mine just looks like a gray cover because it got smashed flat from being in the boxes all these years.
Okay, so Mark Bagley, John Ramita, Steve Ditko, or Todd McFarlane. Only one can remain of the Spider-Man illustrators that I have brought forth to you. Who would you stick around? Feel free to talk it out also.
If I had to pick them like in their prime, or
yeah, I think like with what they did, there's only one that can remain. It is what it is.
If you mean if I wanted them to come back to draw it today, or if I wanted their classic, which one of them had the best run originally?
I like the fact that you're asking those questions. I never thought it out that much. I think if you were to have one of them in their prime come back today and work on Spidey, who would you have do it?
Because of those four, I think that the Ramita Senior era is probably the best era of Spider-Man comics out of those. But I just saw the cover that Ramita Senior did for the new, the variant cover for the new issue 1, and it's he can't draw anymore. He's like, it doesn't look good. So I don't know if I'd want him to come back. Some of them they have a prime period, and then they kind of, Neil Adams kind of at some point just. Ramita Jr., I think at some point he just got a little bit too, it's not bad now, but it's just a little bit too weird, So, but as far as their classic eras, Ramita Sr., I think is the best out of those four.
All right, excellent.
That would be my choice.
All right, so now we're going to do this also with writers, and I'm going to lay the case for them. First up, we've got Brian Michael Bendis. It's true. He just took all the original stories and mashed them up and made them a little bit more planned out, when he did Ultimate Spider-Man. But he did it, and he did it for a good long time, and it was definitely a chart, high on the charts. So it's very popular.
I do like Ultimate Spider-Man, but I've only ever read about the first 60, 70 issues, and then after that it lost me at some point.
Well, when it got tired, he created Miles Morales, and again, this was pretty popular. And it was Brian Michael Bendis, I think, that said that when they had no more ideas for the Ultimate Universe, that they would cross them over, and then he did the Spider-Man.
And then they had no more ideas. So
they had no more ideas, and there were no more Ultimates anymore until there are again. But and this did really well also, if I remember correctly. So Brian Michael Bendis. Next up in writers, this is Dave Mikolini. All right, here you can see him signing Avengers. But Dave Mikolini, he had a run where he had artists of Todd McFarlane, Eric Larson, and Mark Bagley. And I don't know if he gets co-creator or cries about not getting full creator on Venom, but he in some way helped make it, which you can see here. And then I guess he was involved in Carnage also. So David Michellini. I liked a lot of the stuff he did. I thought it was really fun, easy to read Spider-Man, and when you had to do those 2 a month in the summer, his didn't suck.
That's where I am in my reread. I'm just about to the Eric Larson part of the
Excellent
run.
All right. Next up, we have Jerry Conway. Jerry Conway is probably most famous in his Spider-Man for killing Gwen Stacy, killing the Green Goblin, and creating the Punisher. 3 things that are horrible in comics these days. Jerry Conway, everybody.
I know you don't like him. I know that he's.
I personally think his stories suck.
I know
written horribly. But, you cannot deny that. Well, I mean, I like 21 and 22. And, I mean, there were some other ones around that area that I liked. But when I finally read, when I was off because of the pandemic, and I was reading the old Spideys, and I got to 129 and the stories until Len Wein got involved. Yikes, these were not very good.
He did like right at the start of his run, he came in and he invented Morbius and Punisher and Jackal and like the clone and all this stuff. And it's weird because he invented all these lasting things, but he also had like the Aunt May marrying Dr. Octopus and owning like a nuclear island and like some of the stupidest shit you've ever read in your entire life.
Right.
So it's a really kind of wild. I don't know if it's good, but it's an interesting time for it. And a lot of the stuff he invented is still, they're still using all the time. So
that's right. They're still killing off women for
sales,
male characters.
Yeah. No, but I mean, we just gotta. It's pretty. When you read all those in order, it's pretty. He does like Morbius and Punisher and everything, like all within 10 issues.
Yeah, so
definitely. Give him a little credit because at least he was making stuff new.
I'll put it in. All right, last up, we've got Roger Stern. Excellent. He was definitely, when I was reading Spider-Man, he got to work with John Romita Jr. quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was mostly who he worked with. I think maybe like Keith Pollard during those days. His most notable thing was creating the Hobgoblin, or being involved in the creation of the Hobgoblin, and tattoos being in that book. So, I think Roger Stern was very good, but Roger Stern, Jerry Conway, David Michellini, or Brian Michael Bendis. And anybody can let me know in the chat. Oh, excellent.
Out of those four, I just read the whole Roger Stern omnibus, actually. That was just recently. Roger Stern's the best writer out of those, like, obviously.
Yeah. Is that the Spider-Man that you would most go back and read if you could? Or if is that what you think you would?
The problem is that it's kind of like it's like half a story, like he sets up the Hobgoblin and stuff, and then he leaves. Then like the whole alien suit thing happens, and they just drop all the plot lines, and it was kind of, because I heard for so long that it's one of like the great Spider-Man eras, and so when I read it, it was kind of disappointing, because it doesn't go anywhere. But it's good while it lasts. I think he's a better writer than the other three for sure.
So the historian Joe says that David Michellini technically shares both credit with both Todd and Jim Salicrup. Was the editor at the time?
Yeah, Todd didn't do a whole lot. But...
Well, he drew it.
It was just.
What are you gonna do?
It was just the.
I made his mouth big.
He just put a mouth onto and gave him muscles onto the Black Spider-Man outfit, but
Don't forget Hammerhead also. That must have been during Jerry Conway.
Yeah, Jerry Conway. He came up with Hammerhead. Yeah, there was a lot. It was like one thing after another.
I would. All right. So Eric says Stern. I'd say without Punisher, it would be Deadpool or Deathlock taking his place in terms. What I don't know about that. Punisher is Punisher's played out now, don't you think? Doesn't anybody? I
think Punisher is this. He should have been that one issue with the Jackal, and that was about as good as it. That's all.
Well, I've read some Punisher. I've enjoyed some Punisher. I picked up Punisher for a time, but it's not something that you can just keep reading all the time. He's killed thousands of people. Who's killed thousands of people in their lives? You know what I mean? This guy's the worst serial killer there's ever been. He can't be around. We would never let this happen. It just doesn't make any goddamn sense. At least when a superhero has superpowers, they have superpowers that they, whatever. The Punisher's shooting people.
He's just a one idea kind of.
Punisher, David says, Punisher has had his testicles removed. I don't know. He was splitting fools down the middle with the swords he was using in the last issue. That's all I really read. He was fucking people up still. Don't worry.
So they took away his guns. I heard something about that.
He's a member of the Hand. He's using weapons right now. I'm sure Punisher does add a lot to the universe, but not as a character. Just like reading Joker series, you can't keep reading the Joker all the time. It's going to kill it. Less Joker is better. Now we've gotten to the point, if you have to have a point of time between issues until you can use the Joker again, you got to set that date, that time apart. They have walked over that line so much. It's minutes. It's not even like weeks. It's just, I haven't seen him until the last page of the issue. Now I have, and I feel better. It's just.
Yeah. It used to be the Punisher would show up every few years in Spider-Man, and he would do an issue or two. Even when he got popular at the beginning, he wasn't there all the goddamn time.
I don't like the Punisher because of his tools. I agree. As far as a main character, as far as the hero of a story, there's plenty of times when you can write a character as the hero of the story and they're blasting fools, but you can't make him the hero all the time. It's impossible. He has a goal. He finishes his goal, and then he stops doing it. He's not someone that comes in and hangs out during the Infinity Gauntlet. It's crazy that this guy. They had a mini series crossover event in the 90s called Lifeform, and it had Daredevil, the Punisher, Silver Surfer, and the Hulk. Who doesn't belong in that group? You know what I mean? A lot of them don't belong with each other. But goddamn, the Punisher doesn't, but they made it work. It's fine. You can't do that all the time. And that's what the problem with the Punisher is. And punching polar bears, I agree. And yes, he is better out of continuity. I agree. He's better out of continuity. He's better for every year have a Punisher annual. Do the best Punisher annual you can do, or a mini series, and just make it really super great. And my favorite Punisher would be there's a reality show with Goomba's wives. I don't know what it's called, Mob Wives or something. And they're doing a live show, and then the Punisher comes in and he's just fucking shooting everybody. That's what I do with the Punisher. Just shoot everybody up on TV.
Did you watch the Punisher TV show?
No, I didn't.
The Netflix one?
No, I didn't. I heard he was trying to fuck women and was being a jerk about it too.
I don't think I got that far. I watched a few episodes and got bored.
It might be the second season where he was doing that. I don't know.
I thought the Netflix Daredevil show was okay, so I tried the Punisher one, and I just got bored with it after I 3 episodes or something.
I watched the whole first season of Daredevil.
Yeah.
I
thought it was good because I thought Kingpin was good in the show, and that's superhero movies used to always have the most interesting bad guys, and now they're all in the Marvel movies. They're all boring as shit. I thought Kingpin, they actually had an interesting bad guy, which was nice.
D'Onofrio is wonderful. I like him. Just about anything he does. Okay, I'm going to share screen with you. I'm going to turn off my camera. I'm going to share. Oh no, I should get this together first. Hold on a second. Sorry. You don't need to see all this stuff. It's here. I just want to show you some of the new Spider-Man before we leave. And you can tell me, since you were talking about John Romita Jr., he's now the artist on Spider-Man, new #1 coming out tomorrow. What do you think of his work here?
It's okay. It's not too bad.
All right, so I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a rundown of what's going on here. This is the very first page, and this is the very second and third page. I am a fan that they didn't go 6 months before. 6 months earlier. That would have pissed me off. But this is 6 months later. And Peter's talking to his Aunt May, and she's very disappointed in him. And even though she doesn't know what he did because he won't tell her, she knows she's very upset with him. And they don't leave on good terms. Peter Parker goes to his apartment, and he owes a lot of money for his medical treatment. And he's indignant about it.
What's wrong with him? Why is he getting a treatment?
He was messed up by the UFOs, the Hulk group. He was irradiated by one and almost died and was in the hospital for a long time. And even though he was visited by the Black Cat, Mary Jane, Captain America, he has bills that have amassed. And Randy here has been paying for his apartment for a while. And he needs Peter to do a thing for him because Randy is going to ask his girlfriend's dad for her hand in marriage. Do you know who Randy's dating?
Wait, I feel like I heard this. Maybe not. Just tell me.
It's Tombstone's daughter.
I was going to say that. God damn it.
There he is, right in front of you, too.
I knew that they were, because Randy, I'm reading the original Tombstone saga right now, the whole thing with, with Robbie Robertson. And
I love it. Robbie gets so much attention during that time.
Yeah. And so and I thought I remembered hearing something about Tombstone's daughter. But,
look, you got the Rose here. You got Hammerhead. Who's the black woman? Is that from like Luke Cage's area? What's her name? Big Bertha or something like that.
And the Rorschach looking guy is what's his name from like the Steve Ditko issues, right?
I don't know.
He's from way back in the beginning.
Wow, cool.
I forgot his name.
Yeah, the Rose is here. You know who the Rose is, right?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of the Rose era also. Yeah. He's over there with he's over there with the Hobgoblin right now.
Yeah, those are so
shows.
We find out that the Fantastic Four are pissed off at Pete. He was going to rob them. He needed their help. He's not going to hang out with Torch because he's like, super heated up and can't turn it off. And he doesn't want to have it. Here's Randy asking for Tombstone's daughter's hand in marriage. They have a nice little repartee. I'm going to forgive this dinner eating sequence. It makes sense that it would happen. And since we're learning about all the characters in Pete's life, it makes sense. Speaking of Pete, he's a Spider-Man and he's following these guys. What's the White Rabbit's name? Is that it? Just the White Rabbit?
I think she's just White Rabbit.
Or just White Rabbit. There's like a deal going down where they're trying to get this glider of the Goblin, the Green Goblin, and there's this. I don't even know who this dude is. I totally missed out on him. This big grain yoke. Yeah, no, he's like kind of sort of. Anyway, what do you think of this art? I think John Ramita. It looks exactly like John Ramita on Spider-Man in 2000, I think.
Yeah, it looks okay. It looks, it's not as weird as he's got. It looks a little bit more like his old-timey Spider-Man art. It's not so bad. His Aunt May is kind of funny looking to me. But
yeah, she's pretty weathered.
How old is she supposed to be now? She was like married to Jonah Jameson's dad for a while, was she, or something?
Yeah.
So she's still like out there dating, and
she's always out there dating. She's hot to trot.
She's always looking for a dude. Because in the early issues, she's like 2 minutes away from death all the time.
Oh, for sure.
Somehow she goes on to have boyfriends, and
she gets better. It's medical technology, man. It just had to happen,
Yeah.
Mary Jane is hiding this conversation that she's having with Pete on the phone, and she tells him, don't call her again. And there's more to it than that. There's a lot of surprises that I didn't let people know about. A lot more action than what I just showed you. And Mary Jane's situation is like, what the hell happened in 6 months that all of this is going on right now? So I thought it was a pretty good issue, actually. And I was worried that JR Jr. was going to look like his Superman stuff, and I thought it looked really good.
That does not look bad. I think he
Peter
likes to in Spider-Man when he gets back to Spider-Man. That's kind of
yeah, that's his guy. That Daredevil, a few other characters. That's not Peter. Peter's all about facing his problems, not running away or hiding. What are they doing to my boy? Maybe a dream sequence? Well, let's talk to Rick about this really quick. Rick, you've been reading Spider-Man since like AF-15, and you're all the way up into you said the Eric Larson era, I think you said?
Yeah, I'm like in the 320s on Amazing. Right now I'm doing the Spectacular. I'm trying to read all of it, Spectacular and Web and all of it. So I'm doing the Tombstone Saga and Spectacular right now.
Spectacular is great. There's a lot of Roger Stern in there also. Is Peter all about facing his problems?
I don't know if I'd really say that.
He is. I mean, I some of my most memorable issues is like when he's fighting Doc Ock and he's sick and Doc pummels him, Well,
he does always, he feels like he's got to solve everything. That's always, he can never say like, let the police take care of this. He's always got to, which is I guess supposed to be a virtue. At times it gets annoying because it's like, why are you have to stick your nose in everything? Well, it's because they have to have a fight every issue or else it's not a comic book. But that's how I see it. Is he's always got to. He thinks everything's about him.
Right.
He has to be the one to save the day always. So, I mean, I guess it's a good thing, but I think it's also a little bit of an ego thing. It's a little bit of
ego. It's a crutch. It's always honoring his uncle, right?
It's an anxiety thing. He's worried that if he doesn't fix the problem, then he's going to regret it forever. And so every time he sees somebody stealing 50 cents, he's got to solve the problem. Otherwise, oh my God, what if I don't solve it and then the world ends? That's like his,
Oh, I like that. Have we really seen that explored before quite that way? I mean, has anybody psychiatrically attacked Peter as a writer or as like a storyline?
I don't know if it's a bug or a feature because they mean it to be heroic that he always wants to save the day. But I start seeing like when I'm reading hundreds of these issues in a row, I start to see a lot of times it's like, couldn't you just have stayed with Gwen and finished your dinner? Did you really have to run out and fight? Like you couldn't. But he's always got to no, I've got it. I have to be the one to save the day, and I have to do it right this minute. It can't wait a half an hour. That's how he always is. But I guess that's in stories for kids, that's an admirable thing, right? Because you're teaching them like, well, you have to be responsible. Don't think, oh, it's not my problem. So I guess it's good in that way. But it's also sort of an obsession that he has. If you were to look at him psychologically, realistically, this is sort of like a messiah complex or some kind of anxiety disorder that he has. But that's how I would put it, rather than he's always about facing his problems, I guess is a different way to say that.
Right. Let me do this really quick because it's seriously getting to that time. We aren't going to play a video to go out because I want to talk to Rick after the show. But I do want to thank all of our patrons. There's going to be new members on, I think, the next show. Thank you very much for joining up. Obviously, you read our Substack letter, and for those of you that have paid attention to it, awesome. And maybe think about joining our Substack. It's free, and you can find out about things like, 3 weeks in that we were having the Jla Avengers Raffle. You also found out about Free Comic Book Day. You found out about our Evil Landlord raffle. No, not raffle. Auction for a Lone Wolf and Cub book and more. So when we can get those out, we will. Hopefully you enjoyed that. And like I said, if you haven't subscribed to our Substack, or maybe become a patron of ours, it's a whole lot easier than being inundated with once or twice every other month letters coming to you in your email folder. You can just give us money straight away, and that's in our patron on Patreon, become a patron on Patreon. Thinking of taking that thing that I think is so awesome that they don't do on YouTube and putting it on Patreon first. So there will be something for you to take a look at also, hopefully from time to time. Thank you very much, everybody, for being patrons of ours. Rick, everybody should go subscribe to your channel. They should definitely watch the very first Star Trek video. What is it, like 2.5 hours or something like that? Star Wars, I mean. That's late in the night. Star Wars. What is it, like 2.5 hours or something like that?
About, yeah, that's about. Next one's going to be longer.
Awesome. And it's not just Star Wars. It's just it's beautifully made, Rick. I mean, you do such a great job putting everything together, saying your piece, and you know, letting your work speak for itself, letting George Lucas's work speak for itself. You also do probably like a 2.5 hour video on Woody Allen.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
This is the first one was probably pretty. There was a lot of people talking about it, but then there was a lot of people talking about it and hating you more than they could have for your Star Wars video. Yeah. Talking about Woody Allen, right?
Yeah, the Woody Allen video, well, you know, a lot of people were upset. They told me it would kill my channel, told me you can't do it, but it has 3 times more views than my second biggest video, and it also like quadrupled my followers and my subscribers. So I would say hopefully the people that like it outnumber the people that were
it's
upset.
Amazing. And I got to tell you, people, with a lot of the stuff that's going on these days, with all the trials about domesticity that are going on in Hollywood right now, with all the Twitter stuff going on and people quitting and people thinking about all this stuff that's going on, I think your Woody Allen documentary plays right into the whole thing about how everything can get skewed, perverted, and just ignored altogether. And because of what a few people say, everybody believes it. And free thinkers should watch your video on Woody Allen. That's what I would say.
My videos are good for free thinkers. I like that.
Free, I don't know about that Star Wars one.
For free thinkers. It's all for free thinkers. Yeah.
And not only that, but Rick was ahead of the time. Now people are talking about the prequel movies being good. What Rick was talking about them being great and important movie films way before people got into this. I hate the new movies, so I'm going to like the old movies shtick. He was there before y'all, before people were talking up Woody Allen, before that hit piece documentary on HBO was made. Rick was already making the response to that. Amazing that you had the foresight to get in on that before those other fools did.
See, if people would just listen to me, then they would know all these things.
They would know all these things. You can't just go in and just watch the first few minutes and Rick's stuff. He's going to lay things out, and then he's going to start, building his case and then letting it, unravel the way it's supposed to.
The Star Wars thing the Star Wars video had good timing because it was still, when I made it, a lot of people still hated the prequels and hated George Lucas. And then all the Disney Star Wars happened and people started going, oh, maybe we missed George Lucas now. And that was kind of right when my video came out, was when people were going, oh, wait, maybe, they didn't like the prequel so much, but at least it wasn't this like fucking Last Jedi stuff, so.
Yeah.
I think people were ready to kind of take a second look at the prequels, I think, because of all the Disney nonsense that's been happening.
These guys are silly in the comments. Anyway, thank you everybody for coming in and joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. Rick, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Anytime, you tell me when you want to be on, and definitely tell me when you want me to be on your channel. I'll be there immediately.
As soon as I finish this video and I start doing live streams like I've been planning.
This next video is going to be great. Can't wait.
You'll be a guest.
All right, man. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week. Peace.